broke down just over a week ago. Thought it was the thermostat. So I disconnected the thermostat. I moved this thermostat into my bedroom a few years ago after I lost my job. I didn't want to heat the whole house. I didn't want to heat the one bedroom. And so I kept it that way since. Makes more sense. All my radiators have thermostatic valves on them, except the one here in my bedroom. It doesn't have one. And it's allowed to run. And then it turns this off and on. This is the timer in my kitchen. This is planned 12 years ago. Timer was never used because I did shift work. Shifts kept changing from nights to days to nights to days. And the job I'm on now, I don't know my finish time. So all I ever did was use the boost. The power turned off now because things wasn't working. So to get my oil going now, I have to switch the fuse off and on in the meter. And I have disconnected the wires in this. So I can just pull this off now. That was my wee wiring code for my thermostat. Because normally these timers will go to another white box. I don't have the other white box. When I moved into this house 12 years ago, it's just basic plumbing, basic oil. I put a new boiler in when I moved in. So you got the live in, the live out, that's basically it. And so I moved the live wire from there over to there so I can get the heating going using the meter board. So I'm going to take all this away now. So the original live cable going in, I'm just going to cap that off, put a connector on. It's not going to do nothing no more. I'll turn it off with fuse. I'll turn the trip switch off at the meter board, but I'll still put the terminals on just in case somebody turns it on. The wire is going out then. I'm going to run a new cable down here, and I'm going to run a new wire from my bedroom and connect it on to the wires here that go out to the oil burner. And this time I'll come away altogether. Just put a wee blank plate on this wall then to cover all that up. So basically you have 3 wires coming out and 3 wires going out. Can't be simpler. This controller never did heat my water. The controller is designed to heat water, but your plumbing has to be plumbed up to heat water. This house wasn't plumbed up right to heat water. When the oil burner was turned on, the oil heated the tank all the time. You didn't have a choice. It heated it the whole time. This has been hot press. So that would have been the immersion heater switch. Years ago, you want hot water, you switch the immersion heater off and on. That's only a wee narrow hallway. I'm up and down it all the time. I'm walking past this door. There's no problem to switch it off and on. And then they brought out them these motorized switches that works from timers. But when I moved into the house, I put this on here. So that's the hot water comes in there to heat the water up. And I never have hot water in this house. When you live in a bungalow, by the time, if I had a full tank of hot water now, and I was to put on the kitchen tap to rinse a cup or something out, or wash my hands, by the time the hot water gets through, your tap's turned off. It takes too long. The hot water pressure is low in a bungalow. It's not like a 2-story house. And when I have a bath, if I have a shower, the shower's electric. Don't use the oil for the shower. When I put on a coal fire, the coal fire will heat this up first, and then it heats up the radiators. It goes all the way around. So if I want a bath and the oil's on, the only time, so in the last 12 years, maybe 6 times, I have turned this on to heat the water up. If I put the oil on now, that stops the hot water getting into the cylinder to heat it up. If I want a bath or something, put that up, that's it. It's as quick as flicking a switch. You know, that's how easy it is. My brother has motorized valves in his, and he just paid £600 a couple of weeks ago to get it changed for the 3rd time, along with a new central heating pump. So if you got the money, like, you can first spend it. My bathroom here, I have 2 showers. There's the electric shower that I use all the time. But should I have the coal fire lit, I put that in the other shower as well. It goes off the taps, and then I use that shower. But I say always use a bath. When you light the fire, you have a bath. Luxury, you light the bath over an hour or more. Name devices. I'll call this socket here, for example, heating. I could call it boiler. Call it whatever you want. You can set up routines with Alexa. So when I say, instead of setting an alarm, I'll simply say, Alexa, turn on heating, 10 AM. And it works the exact same way. So no need for timers. But the only problem with doing this way here, so I'm going to plug that into the 13 amp socket there in my bedroom. I'll tell you why it's the bedroom now in a minute. And I'll run the cable up, take that cable away there, and I'll run the next cable up into the attic and down on that other wall. And but I need a thermostat. So to replace this thermostat, I got this thermostat. So you can get digital thermostats, but whenever you, what this adapter here does here, it turns power off and on. So when you turn the power off in this here, that loses the power completely. When this thing turns off, it doesn't lose the power completely. The power is always going to it. So because I'm using this system, I went for the analog thermostat because it won't forget the way a digital one could. So I'll simply tell Alexa to turn on my heating. Alexa will turn the power on.
Sorry, I didn't find a group or device named heating.
No, not yet, but you will there. You will there very shortly. So that'll turn the power onto this thing, which will go to this plug. And then into this plug, I will plug this thermostat. The thermostat has to be the right height up in the wall. I can't plug the thermostat down there at the floor. It won't work right. It has to be at the right height at the wall. So the thermostat can go up there, and then the wire then will run to the oil burner. The actual wiring up, the wiring the whole thing up, 15 minutes. Crawling up that roof space to the fiberglass, that's a bit of dread. So I'll wait later on tonight when it gets dark. I've fluorescent lights up there. No point in wasting daylight. This thing also does air conditioning as well. It's an accuracy from 2 centigrade, but even that there is not accurate. The alternative, now this is the way I'm doing it this way. I looked at the Hive. The cheapest way of doing the Hive is £120. And the proper way of doing the Hive with the thermostat being wireless is £180–200. Most videos on YouTube where people with oil burners are using the Hive. And the other alternative then was Google Nest. Most of the videos on YouTube with Google Nest are people with gas boilers. Google Nest can do them all, but there's a lot of different variations on wiring up. Google Nest, it's near the £300 mark for the wireless thing. There's that many different kits. You order the wrong one, you're buggered, like. And you still have to wire them up, which looks more complicated on my system here, like. The advantage of the Google Nest and the Google Hive, if you have motorized valves in your hot water system, it's the only way you can do it. You can't do it my way. So you can, and they also control the thermostats on your radiators. It's going to cost a fortune. Never pay for itself. If you just keep your radiators that wee bit hotter and have a warmer house and save the money, they're supposed to save you fuel. Save you fuel by not having things turned on. But it's not cost effective. This whole system here now, I'm able to get 4 of them there for £30. And that there was £18. They buy one of these wee leads here, £5 like. So the whole thing, £35. So I'm going to have a Wi-Fi controlled oil heating system going by the time I go back to work for £35. When I leave work then, I'll open the app for this on my phone and I'll just click on turn on heating. So handy like. And the heating will go on. By the time I come home, the house is nice and warm. I've taken the wires off the thermostat. One of these cables, there's 3 wires going in, 3 wires going out. One of them cables is going out the oil burner. One of the cables is coming in from the fuse board, and that's the thermostat cable. Thermostat cable's coming away altogether. I'm bringing a new cable down there now that'll come straight from my bedroom, and that's going to join on to the power going out to the oil burner. The other one I could just cap off like that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this wall out, and I'm going to put a double socket on there, because the power, if you switch off the fuse board, there's always a chance someone will switch it on and all the rest. There's no point in having a cable in there dangling doing nothing. So I'm going to wire up the 30 socket. Now if I ever have to get back in here to get the wiring with these two, well the one that's replacing that, then I can take the socket off and get back into the connections. But I don't know which one's in and out, so I'm going to put on all of these blocks on that side, temporary. I'm going to turn the power on and check which one the power is coming down, and then I'll label it. I sort of guessed that was the live one. That's why I haven't cut this block, because it's going to go 30 amp socket. There's a wee tester here. People would use an electrical screwdriver and stick it in there, but that's handier there. If it's red, it's live. If it's green, there's no power. So no power there, power's there. So I'll write live in that there now and tape that fuse shut again. I made a board and I turned it off. I stuck a wee bit of sellotape on it just to make sure it's not accidentally put on. I have all them marked because whenever I came into the house and knocked the wall down, the actual electrician, £450 I paid him, and that was 12 years ago to wire this up. He actually put a live wire on the wrong breaker. So, well, the live wire goes out of a breaker, goes round your loop and comes back in. He had actually put into the wrong one. And so I had to go round cable by cable. So that's why you see like a living room and I've marked them all blue. So I marked all the cables different colours. So I started off, say I started put on blue tape, followed it around the whole house. Do the next one yellow tape, followed it around the whole house. And it's just where all the wires were going. And that's how I found the fault myself. You can't trust anybody else to do things. Now it's live in, which is going to go through to the socket, an oil burner. Take this away, bring my new cable down, join them two together. I'm going to cut this out here with this wee saw. I got that wee saw in the middle. I bought it for the one of the batteries. So I'm going to see if I set that the right depth. This wall is made of MDF. This is the wall I put in myself. So it's made of MDF. And I'll be able to set that the right depth and less chance of cutting through cables. So it's about holding the cables back. Don't know how dusty it's going to be, probably throw dust everywhere. I'm going to give it a go. First time to use the wee thing. So it's very heavy for what it is. That's the oven chips ready, or the roast potatoes is ready. So this wee one needs fed first. I'll get her fed and then I'll do that after. It's something interesting I couldn't understand. The thing about these voltage things, sometimes if you're near a power in the wall, it can pick up false signals. And the problem I have in my oil was I was getting live power when there's no live power using this thing here. As you can see now, there's no live power coming in there. There's no live power coming in there. This one never was live. This one came from the timer and went to the thermostat. But look. Why is it giving me that signal? Now I'll pull it out there now, and I don't know what's going wrong there. And that's why I thought originally, when the thermostat stopped working, I wondered, did a mouse? I wired this up myself, like, so I know how it's done. There's no power going to that cable. The power would come from the timer to the thermostat in the bedroom. So something's gone wrong somewhere. So maybe this could be, when I pull this up, maybe my mouse has been tuning it or something. I thought maybe it was a mouse to start when the thermostat wasn't going. Then the timer was playing up, so I knew the timer's done. But that's interesting there. But see, when I went up the attic, when I tested in my bedroom, there's no power. And in the attic, there was power. In the bedroom, I was confusing me. So when I go up to this attic now, I'm going to go up to the attic now above us here, like, and the cable goes straight up. The three cables there together. I'm going to start with this wee thing. I'm just curious, why is it doing that? And when I pull it out of the wall together and have it lying on the floor, is it still going to do it? Baffling. Baffling. And you see when you get these electronic tools, you just don't know. So what I always do, you see if you ever get something electric like that there, get metal and cross the wires. See if you cross the wires, you're banging the fuse board. Never touch nothing with your fingers. Even I wouldn't trust anything. See what that there says that's green? Before I touch that with my finger, I'm going to cross that wire and that wire together. And see if it's live, so banging the fuse board. Rather than touch it. So that would blow any fuses or sparks or something like. But why it's doing that, I do not know. I'm going to try and videotape this. This is going to be impossible. But don't even know if it's focused or not. This wee saw, I'll see if I look. This is on the phone now, it's a bit awkward. This wee saw got in the middle. I have set the depth for that wee saw, for the depth of the MDF. And you have to hold it in with two hands, it's awkward like. But I'm going to try now and cut out this square if I cutting through the cables. So all these cables are dead now, but they're going to be used again. So I'll start off and do the bottom row, and see how it goes like. I say the only awkward thing is you have to hold in the safety button, but it's a lot slower. This is my first time using it. I only started there to get the depth. It's a lot slower than a mains power one, which is good. You know what, like, that was alright, like. The top one's going to be the dodgy one because of the cables. All I can do is push them in, but she's not cutting much deeper anyway. I think it'll be alright. It's just a putty. It's just all the safety things make it hard. You have to hold that back, hold this on. You really got you need a bit of octopus. But that works. And then the lighting in this case is not the best. Definitely, the wee safety switch to the side, they hold the guy back, this is the opposite. You see, there's another thing out too. I have wires going down to this. Forgot about that, you know. It's in there somewhere. Should be alright. Should be alright. So normal people have plasterboard in the walls. They won't have this problem. I'll put the double socket on here now instead of the oil timer. No point in having a wire cable going doing that. See the problem now, the cable now is once you push my saw crooked. So it's not going to be a straight cut now, like, what can I do? Now that might not be deep enough. I might have to slap with a hammer. I'll see if it goes through. If it doesn't go through, I might get a wee bit deeper. Thing is, I haven't brought a hammer on, have it? Too handy, have all the tools here, like. I think a hand I could use instead of a hammer. I'm going to go out to the shed now, like. Try a gentle tap first. Yeah, go nowhere, go nowhere. Oh, I said that's a wee bit deeper now. Precision this here, as I'll tell you. I'll try that. This is definitely awkward. Having to hold that and hold that is awkward. It's my fingers down here. Too far up. It's too far up, so it is. That's definitely through anyway this time. The wee tool I never have, I never bought one, and that's the oscillating tool. I think that would be the best tool for a job like this. Never had one. See the advantage out there now, like you can see it hasn't cut, that's because the cable is holding the saw crooked, but the blade's not going away deep. Very handy that makes it now, like. Wee knife to finish that off there. I had a wee knife here, right? What do I do with the wee knife? I'm not the tidiest of people, like. That is there. That's a wee thing not many people might know. People don't think twice about it. But these switches here are double pole switches. And I think that was all, this is years ago. If you had something plugged in all the time, like a dishwasher or washing machine, you always used to, my mother used to always unplug everything at night before she went to bed. You light them and stuff like that, blow stuff up. And so if you had a washing machine wired in with these here, you couldn't unplug them at night. So a normal 13 amp socket has a live and neutral. That when you turn off the switch, it turns the power off to the live, but the neutral is still live. The earth is still live. It's only turned off the neutral. So if things were wired wrong, power could still go through. If lightning was to hit or something, it could still go through. And so that's why you had to use these big switches here, and then they got the fuses in them. But then they brought these out. They look like a normal double socket. You wouldn't know from the outside. That's actually what they call a double pole socket. When you flick off the switch, it turns off both the neutral and the live. So if you have these sockets, which I changed all the sockets in my wall to them, all sockets in my house, I changed to these. Only £2 like when I bought them. But right, they could, I don't know what price they are now, they can't be much more. But it means you can, if you've got something plugged in at night like a kettle, if it's turned off, you don't have to unplug it. Dead handy, like. So I use these. I have these all around the house. So I have a couple of brand new ones in the shed. They're brand new, but they're lying there maybe just 10 years. So I'm going to put that on there now. That'll cover the whole up. Here's the thermostat, and it's still showing power coming through. I know there's no power coming through that. And that's why I got baffled. I have that cable disconnected up above. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to the attic now, I'm going to disconnect the cable, and I'm going to pull it down here. And up in the, I just don't understand why it's putting power through. There shouldn't be power, unless there's something in there that's putting power the other way. I don't know. I'll go up to the attic now. I'm up in the attic now. There's the cable coming from my thermostat in the bedroom. And I had lengthened it because originally the cable went to the hall, and I lengthened it years ago to put these connectors on. Showing no power there. Why it's showing no power there and showing power in my bedroom, I don't understand. That's other cable. That's the other half of it, showing no power. And you're in the kitchen and showing power. Baffles me, baffles me. I've disconnected. So I'm going to pull this cable down now. And you'll see there's no power at one end, power at the other end. I just do not understand. So I'm just going to cut this off here now. A pair of pliers. I'm in the bedroom now and I'm going to pull this cable down. In the bedroom again. Hey, how's that come? So I snipped the cable up in the attic, but it wasn't going to nothing. That's something weird. Something weird going on. I have my ceiling lowered here. Well, all done fancy, so I have. I need a wee bit of fanciness. So it's just made out of window blinds. It's window blinds cut sideways, Venetian blinds. It means you can hide all sorts of things. So I'll pull this cable down now. So why does it show live and not live? I don't know, like, what's going on? Where's my wee tester again? Dead now, like. It's baffling, baffling. But it was doing my head in. When my oil wasn't working right and I've got a thing telling me there's live wires, like, you have to be careful. So I'll poke this new cable up now. I want the blower to help me. Oh, help me. He won't answer his phone, his mobile's got an answering machine. Always the way, isn't it? Like, you two people do this, but oh no. I have to try to haul it. It's 2 feet insulation above there. So I'll poke it up a bit, let it go slack, hoping it puts the insulation up a wee bit. As long as I can find the end. That's about as far as I can push it up now. By the time I go up, so I end up falling back down again, like. By the time I touch insulation, to drop below me. That's what always happens. So up the attic again now, see if I can get the end of that cable there. But still hasn't solved the problem why there's live power in this cable when I know it's not connected. Like, that's gone dead now, like. But it was live up in the attic. Now I have to disconnect it from the thermostat now and pull it out. I'll wind it up and it'll probably be dead, but how's the power getting dead? I just don't know. False signals, but why? I always think it's handy having a bungalow for wiring stuff up. And it is and it doesn't. Look at the space, there's no height to a bungalow roof. Now maybe if you've got a big private bungalow, you might have more space. But see, when you put insulation over the rafters, it's very hard to know where to put your weight. Now if I had the blower now poking the insulation, I could find where I had it lifted, but you know what, I might turn this torch off now, turn this phone off and put the torch on. It's around about there somewhere, around about that Christmas tree. Look it off, there's the old Christmas tree, it's not showing up here, but I'm right at the cable, got the cable here, like, put the insulation back. Oh, and he dropped it, fell back down the hole. So I need to pull this cable out now, and I want to keep this cable just running a straight line down the attic, right down to the other end of the attic, straight over the top of the fiberglass, and straight across the other wall. Keep it simple. But the thing is now, I can't crawl down there. Oh. That's my dry master there. Anybody wants to know what a dry master thing does? It lasted 10 years and packed up. But did it do its job? Did it not? I don't know. The one thing I noticed about the dry master, if you look up the internet what a dry master is, one thing I noticed about it just basically blows cold air into your house. But stop your house getting damp. If you've no heating on, stop your house getting damp. But it says it blows on cold air, so your house will be freezing. So I need to run this down here now, this cable. I'll keep it the far side out of the way. And all the 2 cables lying down there. And I have a rough idea where the wall is over there. Can't do it with the phone on. But bungalow roofs are very low. Lucky for me, I've got the lights up here. That's a bar ringing now. They might come up and give me a hand. The other thing I've noticed here, that double socket there, that is for my attic lights. That just plugs in downstairs. And this is the thermostat cable. It's totally dead, like I said. But see why it's showing power on it now? It's not connected to nothing. The whole cable's downstairs. If I hold the cable out here, it's still showing light. That's a weird one there, like. That is weird. That cable there, I can't do multitask. Can't honestly, I can angle the phone over here. That is still showing power in that cable. The whole cable's lying on the floor, both ends. How's it showing power on that cable? I don't understand that. Anybody wants free electricity, I have a cable for sale. Hey, power on it anyway. What is going on? I don't know. Well, it's disconnected completely anyway. I'm about to run this new cable. So there's no mice button in there or nothing. Everything's safe. Here's the cable now that was showing live all the time. The end was show dead and the middle was show live. That is now on the floor. We'll just see now what it does. It's giving me false signals all the time. And even when I was up there, it was giving false signals. Completely dead now down here. I don't know why was it telling me there's power on it. I've traced it the whole way. I like to do things right, like. And I thought then maybe because sitting on top of all the cables would be picking up energy field. That's just totally dead now anyway. So I don't know. That done my head in there. You don't like much on cables of sense live, like. But there's a thermostat now, completely disconnected. What's that saying now? It's totally dead. I'll take that off the wall there now. And I'm going to put a wee 2-board socket. And so that's an old extension lead. I'm going to plug that into this thermostat. The thermostat needs to sit at this height. Can't have a thermostat on the floor or the roof. Your heating won't work right. So I'm putting the socket sideways for neatness. And it'll sit that way. The plug will go under it. And then so the Alexa will turn on this adapter. That'll send the power to a wee socket that will turn on this thermostat, and the power then will go into the kitchen. Back in the kitchen, there's the end of that cable now. I'm going to cut that cable now. That's coming from the bedroom, and that'll just wire into there. Simple. So that's the power cable that did go to the oil burner from the mains. That's now going to power this double socket. This cable comes from the bedroom 13 amp socket that's going to power the oil burner. So simple, like. So I'll cut this now and connect it up. So there's a connection made now. No need to put sticky tape or nothing on that because it's in behind the wall. I'll just tuck that in there now out of the way. And if there's ever any hassle, I can remove this socket and get at it. I can just sit on there. Get it away from behind the socket because the socket needs space for its own cable now. And stick the socket on there now and screw that into place. Cable's always a bit awkward, like. And you got 2 hands, like, you get the idea. So the socket screws into place there now. Unfortunately, it doesn't cover all the damaged wallpaper. What can I do? Get that screwed in place. The power back on now in the fuse board. Just check now all the wires in the right place. That tells you that everything's okay. Connection, fuse okay. If them's the wrong way around, them numbers, that tells you the fault. When I installed this thermostat originally, you meant to have a box in the wall. I didn't have a box in the wall. And it's only a temporary job, like. So I put this wee block of wood on so I could bring the flex down behind and end it. Done the job, so it did. Done the job. Because I only put this on. I moved this when I lost my job originally. And people go on about heating and eating. I can say from experience, when you lost your job and you've got a mortgage to pay, you do not heat. You eat. So it's not a question. But what you can do is heat one room. And that's exactly what I done here. Didn't heat the rest of the house. Heated this one room. And the thing is, you see when you've got a job again, it's very hard to go back to wasting. When you've learned not to waste, it's very hard to start wasting again. So that's out of the way now. I'm going to put a wee double socket there now and that'll plug in. So I'll just, Alexa, cancel. So I'll just wire up this plug now. I had to shorten it. That was a big long lead there. So I shortened this lead now. I'll glue that on the wall there with a glue gun. Them's handy wee cables. The only thing with them, them's only 10 amp. They're not 13 amp. It's only 10 amp, but an oil burner is only about 400 watts or so. So I'll bring the flex, nice black and all, it's nice. So it'll go down along the floor. If people don't remember how you wire up plugs, second letter in blue is L, L for left. Second letter in brown is R, R for right, and then the F goes up the top. And you actually get, it's a bit like the wee testers I had for the kitchen. I'll show you this on. You get testers to test 13 amp sockets. I used to have 13 amp plugs. I used to have one. You just plug your plug in it. God knows where it is. But because it's an extension lead, when I plug that in anyway, I can use my other wee tester and plug it in here. And make sure that's wired up right. So if it's not wired up right, the lights will be a different colour. So in theory now, if I plug this in now, my oil burner is going to go. That oil burner is now turned on. You plug in the 13 amp socket, it goes to there, and the oil burner is turned on. I'll take the slack back into the attic. So just make sure everything's going first before I go any further. Then all I have to do then is put the smart plug in at the 13 amp socket and put the thermostat in at the 13 amp socket. And that'll sort that out. Oil burner's going. Another wee tip, if you ever have to nail on flexes, that's a black flex, shows up well with this carpet on the back. A wee blob with a hot glue gun. Tiniest wee blobs. And that's far neater than banging in them right cable things. So, you get the idea now, look. I'll do this one here now, look. You put the tiniest wee blob, not a big blob, you burn your fingers. Put it on, I'm putting on the mold of the wood there. And then just hold the flex on. Keeps it nice and straight and all. When that dries there, that's it there now, look. That's far neater. That's far neater than using them nail on things. A lot cheaper as well. So let's just finish this off. Say now somebody doesn't want to go the smart route. You could do what I've done there now. Anybody wants a cheap way of getting that burner on. Bear in mind, if you can afford an electrician, pay an electrician. So there's a thermostat there now. Red means there's power going to the thermostat, but it's not, hasn't put the oil burner on. As I increase the heat, there now, so that'll turn the oil burner on now. Now whenever that gets that temperature, it turns the oil burner off. But that means your oil's on 24 hours a day. You still need a timer. That replaces your thermostat. So now the timer part now will be the smart plug. I got 4 new smart plugs for just below £30. Problem I have with the smart plugs now, my mother's house, I put Alexa in for my mother. My mother died 4 years ago, but my sister-in-law still living there. They're using it. I used my password and all to set it up. I need to set up a new account now for my own house, so I can use my password, different password up here. It's getting complicated running 2 houses, smart devices. So I set up these new plugs now. I'm going to set up a new account. So I get the box of smart plugs now. The ones I bought here, I'm not going to bother doing unboxing and all this kind of stuff. Piles of videos on YouTube. I don't have the proper YouTube equipment. Like, I have no tripods, nothing like that. I'm just somebody who likes to do things on the cheap, but proper. Just to prove, I always think, the wee saying I always say to a friend, live your dreams within your means. No point for wishing something you never really afford. So, quick start guide. I'll have no problem setting these up. The only problem I'm going to have with these now is the account. The thing about setting these up here, there's 2 ways, there's 2 processes. You set up your plug first, which is straightforward. You follow your instructions, it'll be straightforward how to do that. But once you got that set up, then you got to set up to work with Alexa. You got to give Alexa permission. And then when you give Alexa permission, then you want to give, once you get in it, you give Alexa routines. So I'll say, Alexa, good morning. If I was to say that now in my sister's house, that will turn on the TV, turn on the electric fire display. And if you tell Alexa good night, just turn off the TV, turn off the fire, and turn off the lamps. You can set up your routines. So that's a wee bit more complicated. So as soon as you leave your house, you can say, Alexa, I'm away, and then she'll turn the oil off. Rather than have this, because you can tell to turn the oil off if you want, but if you've got a whole lot of devices, lamps, oil and all this, just say, Alexa, I'm away, and she'll do everything for you. She'll even tell you the weather in the morning. So if you say, Alexa, good morning, she'll tell you the weather. So I'll set this up now. I have it all set up now. I'm going to turn the oil on to 7:30. The bit with Alexa's awkward because Alexa is your Amazon account. So to get Alexa to do what I properly want to do, I'm going to have to delete. The bro's going to have to get his house set up and under his account on Amazon instead of mine. So there's a timer going there now, that the wee thing. If I say, Alexa, turn on oil. There's the oil turned on. And there's the thermostat. So the thermostat's at green now. That means it's at the temperature. The oil burner hasn't turned on. And so if I put the temperature up a bit, oh, green means it is on. So the oil burner is on, and red, the oil burner is off. So you set the temperatures you want. So you have to play around with that until it runs, until it cuts out. Check with the temperatures in the room. Then once you get the temp, normally during the day this door lies open, so the room doesn't heat up too quick. At night time then, when I'm trying to conserve heat and watching TV and going to bed, I close the door, and then this room will control the heating. You gotta save the oil, like. So, Alexa, turn off. Haven't told it all, you see. Alexa, turn off oil. Get the idea. And that's why I went for analog, because you see where the power just cuts out slowly. If that was digital, probably loses memory. You need to have a battery backup. That means it's using the battery the whole time. A battery backup and stuff like that is only there in case of power cut. It's not meant to be 24 hours a day. So majority, but 20 hours a day, this is going to have no power going to it. So an analog one's actually handier. And if you don't want it to go, I can flick the switch off here. So let's say I'm going away in the caravan for a week. Instead of telling Alexa to cancel all timers, Alexa can go on ahead and control that. Don't boss that in the hand. Flick the switch off there. Alexa, turn on oil. So you see, no power was on there. Did it go on there, did it? Alexa, turn on oil. So the adapter's on there now. There's no power going to that. So if I'm away on holiday, flick the switch. Not on a holiday, put the switch back down again.